Hey, y'all, don't forget to hit those buttons over there while you're listening. Progressive prosecutors in Georgia face backlash from the start, and they say it's all about politics. Shalina Cook Jones of Chatham County and Deborah Gonzalez of Athens, Clarke, and Oconee counties were elected in 2020 in the wake of nationwide protests against racial injustice. They, like dozens of other progressive prosecutors elected to office over the past decade, promised a holistic approach to prosecuting that offers diversion programs, rehabilitation, and shorter sentences for nonviolent offenders. Cook, Jones, and Gonzalez say the criticism is political and misleading, but opponents say they have led dysfunctional offices that let people convicted of violent crimes off the hook. Among their critics are Democrats, including Athens Clarke County Mayor Kelly Gertz and Savannah Mayor Van Johnson, a former police officer. Pushback against progressive prosecutors is not new. We got Republicans in Texas, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Missouri, and Florida have tried to remove those who they disparagingly call woke prosecutors. In Georgia, Republicans frustrated with Gonzalez passed legislation to discipline and remove prosecutors if they fall afoul of a newly created commission. We also have California introducing Proposition 36. In 2020, Cook Jones unseated her former boss, Chatham's tough-on-crime Republican incumbent District Attorney Meg Heap. Cook Jones was the first African-American woman elected in a county that includes Savannah, which is over 50% black. In May, she easily won her Democratic primary. Gonzalez's circuit includes Athens Clarke County, which is mostly liberal, and Oconee County, which is mostly conservative. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong. She didn't face a primary challenger in May. When Gonzalez took office, she released a memorandum detailing revised policies on prosecution, sentencing, and rehabilitation programs, but she quickly retracted it because of intense backlash. I think part of it is because I'm outspoken and I am unapologetically a Democrat, and I consider myself a progressive prosecutor, Gonzalez said of the criticism. There are many prosecutors who don't like that word, progressive, but to me, what it means is that we need to look at this differently. We need to ask ourselves, is this in the interest of justice? In 2023, Republican Governor Brian Kemp traveled to Savannah to sign a law creating a commission that he said could go after far-left prosecutors who are making our communities less safe. Cook Jones said such rhetoric contributes to a smear campaign against reform-minded prosecutors who seek to reduce incarceration rates that skyrocketed since the 1990s because of punitive policies for low-level drug offenses that were disproportionately enforced for people of color. And that's because they needed that free labor, right? They needed to have prisons for profit. Cook Jones also said people overlook mistakes made by other district attorneys. The progressives are under a microscope, said Jessica Brand of the Wren Collective, a criminal justice group of former public defenders. So I think people are looking harder for flaws. Former DeKalb County District Attorney J. Tom Morgan said Cook Jones and Gonzalez are under attack for the simple reason that they aren't good at their jobs. When your district attorney is more political than prosecutorial oriented, you're going to have problems leading the DA's office, he said. After Cook Jones and Gonzalez took office, dozens of staff left. Though turnover is normal when new district attorneys enter office and offices across Georgia face staffing shortages, it is especially pronounced for progressive prosecutors. The early exodus in Gonzalez's office was driven by policy disagreement, says Patrick Najjar, a former prosecutor under Gonzalez, but it didn't take long for the office to descend into a downward spiral due to poor management. This is what they're saying. And then we're just full of opinions. People left Shalina's office because they didn't like the idea of progressive prosecution, Teasley said. And she's someone who worked under her as well. People left Deborah's office because they couldn't function under her disjointed attempt to be a progressive prosecutor. Glitz, the Athens Clarke County mayor, supported Gonzalez when she ran for state house and DA, but now is supporting her independent opponent. Gonzalez has also faced legal reprimands, including having been cited at least 4 times for not communicating with victims about cases and sued for violating open records laws. She said her critics are trying to distract from her office's accomplishments, which include expunging people's records, resentencing 5 people, and referring 15 juveniles to restorative justice programs. Both also had large case backlogs from the pandemic, which have mostly cleared. Cook Jones has mostly restaffed her office. Still, safety concerns from residents led Cook Jones' opponent, a former employee, to run against her. Johnson, Savannah's Democratic mayor, criticized Cook Jones in August when, without notifying the mayor's office, she publicly dismissed 6 MURDER cases involving 2 Savannah police officers who had been indicted on perjury charges. My expectation is that when my police make the arrest, this community has to have the assurance that they are going to be aggressively prosecuted, Johnson said, referring to Cook Jones' overall performance. Cook Jones said her office examined each case and determined they wouldn't hold up in court. I've gotten a black eye for dismissing MURDER cases that should not have been MURDER cases, she said. Nathaniel Wright, one of Cook Jones' former prosecutors, called Cook Jones' predecessor prosecution happy and said she left the office with crappy MURDER cases. Brian DeBlasis, Cook Jones' chief assistant district attorney, is a Republican who worked for her predecessor. He goes on to say that Cook Jones is meticulous when she considers reducing a charge and has forged close relationships with law enforcement. If my wife was MURDERED tomorrow, I would want them trying the case, he said of Cook Jones' office. And she's the one they're saying is progressive. Cook Jones hopes voters will dismiss the political back and forth and focus on her work, including attempts to expand diversion programs, expunge records, and examine wrongful convictions. She said she concentrates legal resources on violent cases since 80% of the cases that come to her desk are nonviolent, while less than 1% are homicides. In September, she announced a MURDER indictment against a former Savannah police officer who fatally pew-pewed a black man in 2022. She explained that she has a dual responsibility to cultivate good working relationships with law enforcement and hold public officials accountable when they break laws. Like Gonzalez, Cook Jones has faced her own legal woes, including an ethics complaint for not filing campaign documents. She also was sanctioned for unethical behavior, including missed court dates and material misrepresentations related to a workplace discrimination lawsuit a former staffer brought against her. Jones denies the allegations and said she was busy representing a rape victim when the judge called her for deposition dates. Cook Jones is used to public reprimands and said she is tired of it. I have suffered, bled, and died for this DA office over and over and over again, Cook Jones said in an interview. If they don't want me, I'm fine with that. That means I can go back to my family and raise my kids. Don't forget to hit those buttons over there. I hope your day doesn't suck. Okay, love y'all. Bye.